So we're gonna
Yep.
we're gonna. Hey!
Hey, hold on, I'll be right there.
All right, we're gonna wake this motherfucker up. Hold on, let's do this. He's probably gonna answer the door in his underwear or something. Don't worry, we'll put like a black image in front of his balls. Surprise! Everybody sees people in the music industry or in the entertainment industry. They see people when they're there already. Yeah. They don't see what had to come in before that. Right. You know? And I think a lot of times people think that, wow, this person, you know, you got a great life. You get to tour the world and you get to go places and, you know, wow, it's so easy or it's so, you know. That's but they don't see, you know, because I mean, even from my experience, they don't see all the suck that had to go before that. You know what I mean? Right. Or they don't see how many gigs you've done in the winter in Minnesota when 3 people showed up and you didn't get paid, or sleeping on couches or disgusting hotels.
And then overnight success.
And then like, so I wanted to talk about with you, you know, I know you're grateful for playing music. You know, when we hung out one time at a party, I said, "How you doing?" And you said, "Man, I'm doing great. I can't believe I play music." But you know, but people don't know that you've paid your dues. They have no idea how many years of
they don't appreciate
of climbing that you had to take. You know what I mean? Like people see, oh, there's Ira on the tour bus, and
how easy he makes it look.
Or let me get your autograph, Ira. You know, look at what a great life that just fell into your lap.
Right.
You know what I mean? They don't know about early '80s Ira Elliot.
Oh
they don't know about.
We're gonna bring out the pictures. We're gonna have to edit in some photographs.
We will. They will. You know, I mean, we will, and they don't know about that. So I wanted to maybe possibly pick your mind, pick your brain on what, you know, what you had to deal with, man. Like during your toughest times, or like, you know, when the turning point came in your life. When things...
It was weird. It was in phases. Like I think I knew pretty early on. Like we were talking about this the other day. Like identified pretty early as a drummer. Like by the time I was in my early teens, I had already, like in my mind, I was already like Ira Elliot, drummer.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, if I was in, like, I immediately, like, it was the first thing that in my life where, like, it separated me from everybody else I knew. It was certainly the first thing that showed up where I had excelled over everyone else in my peer group. And that's a really important thing. Like, for me at the time, like, all my friends were athletes.
Yeah.
And I tried to be an athlete for a while, to be, you know, because I was interested in it, but mostly I was interested in it because that's all my friends were doing. You know, Little League baseball and stuff like that. But when I showed up, you know, when I found this, suddenly there was something like, oh, this is mine, and none of my friends can really do this. So that was huge, and so that fueled me for a number of years. And so I throughout my teens, that's, you know, I did practice, and, you know, took whatever opportunities that came to play, you know, with friends or whatever in the summer camp, you know, in bands and stuff like that. And then started playing with some friends in my late teens. I started a band with some guys in the neighborhood, Quest.
Yeah.
We started like a cover band, and you know, it was the typical thing. And then, you know, we became, after about a year and a half of playing, you know, Rush and you know, whatever. Oh, we were playing a lot of stuff. We were playing. This was the late '70s, early '80s. It was around 1980.
Yeah.
That we started doing this. And so at the time, you know, half of us were, the guys in the guitarist was like a heavy metal guy, so he was all into Sabbath and Zeppelin and Rush.
All that testosterone.
And I was the new wave guy, so I was into like the Cars and the Police and the Ramones. And so the band played all that stuff. Like we were playing like, you know, all these various different things. So we started doing that, and became an original band for a couple of years, broke up. You know, and then it was, for me, it was then a series of, you know, that was where I was in college, and then it was a series of just like playing in bands. I sort of left college after 2-3 semesters to go on the road with this garage band that I played with, and it was like my first kind of successful band in that they had a deal on a small record label here in New York, and they did some touring. They toured the Midwest, and I was like 20. when I first did a van tour of the U.S. and it's like 1981. No, 1983. It was my first tour, which was really exciting. It was like 2.5, 3 weeks.
That was like the dream, right? You're like,
it was the beginning, and I realized now I've been doing that same thing, traveling in a van full of musicians.
Was that the first time out of New York?
First time out of New York. Yeah, I mean, we immediately started playing a lot of shows in the city. At the time, they were getting a lot of shows. My first show was at a place called the Peppermint Lounge, which was a pretty famous club in New York. Had been in the mid '40s, like 45th Street, and it was down on 15th Street. But it was one of the most famous rock and roll clubs in New York for many, many years. When you're a musician in your 20s, I think you're really highly motivated to become a rock star. That's the thing to be in your 20s. Is get rich and famous in your 20s. I mean, maybe not rich, but get famous anyway. Or get notorious. And that's the time, we were all really intent on being on MTV. That was where it was at. That was the top.
That's when MTV was cool, though, right? I mean,
that's what MTV was like. It was still rock bands. I mean, we kind of had our head up our butts, musically speaking, in retrospect now. But we were really focused on being as successful as we could be. It was all about success. It was really not about music. It was more about, really,
the whole image of being a rock star.
It was all about simply succeeding whatever it took. And the music kind of took a back seat because we weren't great songwriters, but we certainly were ambitious. And that fueled us. I was in that band for about 7 years. We went through this incredible saga of